Call this meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Uli,
Here.
Councilmember Halleck,
Present.
Councilmember Ragsdale Cronin,
Here.
Vice Mayor Shirley. Here. Mayor Donaldson.
Here, please join me in the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Next item is public comment. General public comment must deal with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the city and the council that are not on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the city council on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. There'll be a time limit of 3 minutes. No action will be taken on matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. This time, public comment is open.
Good evening, Anna Motti. I'm actually here for my husband, Ahmed, who would like to thank the city for the placement of the hose bib in the Portola Triangle. We're very excited about it and really thankful, and we'll keep those plants alive.
My name is Debbie Blakesley, and I reside at 7 Vogue Place in Del Rio Oaks, and thank you for the opportunity tonight to address council. And I want to thank Ann for doing a darn good job on that triangle. A lot of hard work. Anyway, the reason I'm here tonight is to address the current ordinance 1708.090, which is garage requirements, which I became very familiar with in the last couple of months. And section A gives the specs for the garage size. Section B states, no carport or structure intended for the storage of motor vehicles other than attached or detached enclosed garages shall be allowed in the city. And section B is what I want to address tonight. And below that carport section, there is a prior code and ordinance, bunch of numbers, and the date 5/26/2009. I went back to the city council meeting of May 26, 2009, addressing the prior code and ordinance, and I could not find anything addressing or mentioning carports. Anyway, when I asked why we can't have carports in the city of Del Rio Oaks, the answer I got was because of the city ordinance. And I researched for hours as far back as computer records as I could go, and I couldn't find anywhere where the city decided to disallow carports. And no one seems to know when or why this happened. I mean, Karen's been here 20 years and she couldn't remember when it happened, so I don't know when it happened or why. And as many of you know, there are many carports in Del Rio. Some of you maybe even have carports. And just looking around the neighborhood, I've found probably at least 2 that I can think of that have been built recently, at least since I moved here back in 2011. And since, I don't know when the carport ordinance was enacted, I don't know if that was before or after. But I use Google Earth as a good tool to see, what was built before a certain date. Anyway, I would love to put up a carport in front of my existing garage. I have the setback clearances, and was just wondering if it was possible to revisit this ordinance, or at least, find out why we have it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Actually, I would like to, Denise Wood, Rosita, I'd like to thank Sustainable Del Rio for the great job of cleaning up the trash in the corner of, right across from the car wash. It's great, thanks.
All right, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, I'll move on to the next item, which we have a couple of proclamations. Our first one is honoring the 70th anniversary of the city of Del Rio Oaks. Whereas the city of Delray Oaks, nestled within the Sun Belt of the picturesque Monterey Peninsula, was incorporated in 1953. And whereas for 7 decades, Delray Oaks has thrived as a community built on the principles of unity, progress, and inclusivity. And whereas the residents, businesses, civic leaders of Delray Oaks have worked tirelessly to create a vibrant, welcoming, and sustainable community that embodies the spirit of communication and cooperation. Whereas Delray Oaks has consistently demonstrated its commitment to preserving and enhancing the natural beauty of its surroundings, including the renowned Frog Pond Wetland Preserve and Work Memorial Park. And whereas the city of Delray Oaks has a proud history of public service with dedicated city employees and elected officials, working diligently to improve the lives of its residents. And whereas Delray Oaks marks its 70th anniversary, it is an opportunity to celebrate the achievements of the past, acknowledge the challenges that were overcome, and look forward to the future filled with promise, progress, and prosperity. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Mayor Scott Donaldson, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Delray Oaks, do hereby proudly announce and proclaim that we take pride in all Delray Oaks has accomplished in its 7 decades and look forward to a future of continued prosperity and achievement. Signed, Scott Donaldson, Mayor. I'd also like to point out that on the 7th of October, we're going to have our picnic. It'll start at 11:30 by the Church of the Oaks. We'll do a parade starting there and ending in the park. And then at noon, the picnic will start. So hopefully everyone can join us for that celebration. Okay, the next proclamation is for honoring National Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas since our founding, our nation has drawn strength and diversity from our people. Whereas with faith and passion and sturdy work ethic and profound devotion to family, Hispanics have helped carry forward our legacy as a vibrant beacon of opportunity for all. And whereas their ancestors have been here for generations, or they are among the newest members of our American family, they represent many countries and cultures, each adding their own distinct and dynamic perspective to our country's story. National Hispanic Heritage Month pays tribute to the generations of Hispanic Americans whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and who have positively influenced and enriched our nation and society. Whereas in 1968, President Lyndon Johnson implemented the observance of Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas with the this observation was expanded to its current 30-day period from September 15th to October 15th and enacted in public law under President Ronald Reagan in 1988. And whereas September 15th was chosen as the starting point for the commemoration because it's the anniversary of independence of 5 Hispanic countries: Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua, who all declared their independence in 1821. In addition, Mexico, Chile, Belize celebrated their independence days on September 16th, 18th, and 21st, respectively. And whereas Hispanic Americans continue to enrich our community with cultural, educational, and political influences that can be seen in all aspects of our lives. And whereas National Hispanic Heritage Month is an important reminder of how much strength we draw as a nation from our immigrant roots and our value as a nation of immigrants. And now, therefore, I, Scott Donaldson, Mayor of the City of Delray Oaks, do hereby proclaim September 15th to October 15th, 2023 as National Hispanic Month in the City of Delray Oaks. And I urge all citizens to embrace the diversity that strengthens us and continue to strive to ensure the American dream is within reach for generations of Hispanics to come. Signed, Scott Donaldson, Mayor. And then our last proclamation is for the Stormwater Awareness Week. I'm not gonna read this proclamation, but I'm a member, I represent the city on the Monterey One Water Board, which is very involved with stormwater management. And I know Councilmember Ragsdale Cronin is also intimately familiar with that organization, having served with them for many years. I want to acknowledge our Public Works Director, Ron Fucci. He is our representative for stormwater management here in the city, and he's done an outstanding job. And I'm going to make sure that he gets to see this proclamation. Okay, our next item is one of the things that I always enjoy. It's a badge presentation ceremony for Reserve Officer Chris Salopek. And before I turn it over to the chief, within the council packet for this meeting, there are several acknowledgements in there for some of the things that our police officers have recently been involved with and some of the fantastic work that they do. And I encourage everyone to take a look at that. And as part of that acknowledgement, there are a couple letters in there that reference Officer Salopek and his outstanding work that he's done in investigations and as our range master. So Chief, I don't want to steal any of your thunder. I'll turn it over to you.
Come on up here, Sal. I want to thank Mayor's Council for letting me to talk a little bit about tonight. Sal is an employee of our department, and he's also a friend and has been for quite some time. A little bit different relationship with him than I do with our new folks. We will be friends after this is over. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Chris Salopek was hired by Delray Oaks in June of 2000. We called him Chris for about a day and then learned his name was Sal, at least his nickname. So if I say Sal rather than Chris, you'll excuse me. I believe I was his FTO, at least one of them. The thing is, he was already working. He'd already been working for a year at that point for the prison system, Salinas Valley State Prison. So while he was a reserve with us, he worked full-time with them. Shortly after, I believe it was 2008, he was actually picked to become a member of their special investigative services unit. Okay. That is, if you imagine a prison is a city, but it's a city filled with criminals. You need people, there are victims in prison, there are suspects in prison. So people like Sal would go in and investigate these crimes, just like a detective would in Delray Oaks. So we learned a lot of skills working for the prison system, which we take advantage of today. So he's retired from the prison now. He's been with us as a reserve detective for, has it been a year yet? About a year. He's also a range master. He is a TFO, which is a task force officer with the DEA. And they are as proud of him as I am. I get nothing but compliments from the DEA. And those are the folks looking for the fentanyl out there. And we know that fentanyl comes through Delray Oaks, and we've had tragedy in our city because of fentanyl. So we rely on Chris and the good work he does to keep those things off the street. Now, why Chris Salopek? Why this year? In early 2000, we were both working, and we were dispatched to a residential burglary on Los Encinos. And we both went there. We both dusted for fingerprints. We both photographed the scene, talked to the victims. It turned out that we got a fingerprint and we made an arrest and we solved the case. One of us got Officer of the Year that year. It wasn't him. It was me. So I always said to myself, when it's time, when I get the chance, he will be my Officer of the Year. Not that he hasn't earned it this year. He's done wonderful, exceptional work. But I'm proud to call you a friend. I'm proud to give you this badge.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would you like to say anything?
Just real quick, I want to thank everybody. I love working here in the city. I enjoy law enforcement and to be able to continue to do that here for you guys is special to me. I think I'm one of the few people that actually live here in town too, so I have a vested interest in keeping things safe here. This is my training officer and my friend, and I'm super happy to see that he is our chief of police. And that's one of the other reasons why I stayed on is to work with him. Also, I want to thank all my partners, past and present, that I've worked with here at the police department, my partners at the DEA, and my partners at the prison that I work with in the unit over there. Great bunch of guys, and I miss working with them. Most importantly, I gotta thank my wife, Cassie, for putting up with the past 24 years now, or 25 years that we've been together. And shortly after we got married, I was already working as an officer at the prison, and she we got married, and I had this crazy idea about becoming a reserve officer on top of what I was doing at the prison, and she supported me the whole way. She supported me through, working here, working at the prison, becoming a canine handler, which isn't easy for a wife to deal with, a guy bringing home a dog every day and all that. So I just want to thank you and my son Andrew also for putting up with me. So thank you very much.
An opportunity for the council to say anything that they would like, and also the public too. So I'll start with Councilmember Wu.
Thank you, Mayor Donaldson. Thank you, Officer Sal, for being part of our family now, being part of our family. And also I want to really thank your family as well for your support and sacrifice. And your presence in our community is really a beacon of hope and safety. And so we're really looking forward for your continued service, and we are grateful for your unwavering dedication to our city. Thank you so much.
Chris/Sal, you go by from a professional standpoint. Welcome aboard. I know you've been here for a long time, but it's good to see you getting the recognition you deserve, and looking forward to seeing a lot of good stuff from you as years go by. Thank you. Thank you.
Officer Sal, thank you so much for sticking around Del Rio. Obviously you live here, and so I'm happy you're here. I like hearing about your past and all of your experience. Thank you for bringing that to Del Rio's. I know it pays off, and so I appreciate your dedication to your wife too. Thank you for floating into us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, Officer Salvatec. I can never emphasize enough the gratitude that the community has with our entire police force. We all, I say it very often, we all sleep very safely and soundly, knowing that that you officers are on patrol, protecting us through the day and night. And you are an instrumental and integral part in that. It's well-deserved promotion, embadgement. Is that a word? Congratulations either way. And it's great to have you as one of our community members. Nice to know we've got a sharpshooter right up the street from us. So thank you very much, and congratulations again.
Yeah, Chris, I'd just like to reiterate what the chief had to say about you. I'll speak for the admin staff. It's a pleasure having you around. You bring a quiet confidence to the department when you're here. I really appreciate your subtle, quiet sense of humor. But, you know, you getting people like you who want to come and work here as a reserve is a testimony to what this department has become, because I've worked for or with at least 4 different law enforcement agencies, and we always had to go out and beat the bushes to find reserve officers. Here, they come to us and they ask to work here because of this. I watch you when you're back there. You're a mentor to the younger officers that we have, and they all really look up to you. And you know, it helps us in admin, because you're always quick to respond when there's something happening out there. And we just really appreciate the fact that you want to work here and that you want to be a member of this team. So sorry, I'm getting a little choked up, but we really enjoyed you being here, and I hope you're going to be with us for a long time.
Yeah, and I can't say enough about all the things that you've done for the city. I mean, you're just an incredibly talented investigator. The things that you've done here in the city and for the DEA, it's just incredible. You know, it just exemplifies what our police force is all about. And we're just lucky to have you. I appreciate everything that you're doing and everything that your family does for us. And hopefully you stick with us for a long time. At this point, I'd like to open it up to the public if there's any public comment. Okay, or other members of the staff.
Half of those cupcakes are for you.
Okay, yes.
I do want to reiterate what our CM just said. It is a pleasure having you here. And I've known you for a long time, so it's great. And I'm proud of the department and what you guys do. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you.
If I may, through the mayor.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we have our Santa Claus for Christmas.
Yes.
All right, and Chief, thank you. Chief, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, our next presentation, we're gonna have to reschedule is for a former council member, Pat Bell. Community Human Services was unable to do that presentation today, so we're gonna reschedule that for a later council meeting in the future. Okay, with that, I'll go to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the council would like to pull from the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as voted here.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let me go out to the public. Are there any items on the consent agenda that anyone would like to pull? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the council. We do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. I'll move on now to old business, which is none. New business, we have the appeal of the city building officials' determination regarding the building at 121 Cayedale Oaks. And with that, I'll turn it over to the city manager.
Mr. Mayor, if I could interject, sorry to interrupt, but I actually had a happenstance meeting several weeks ago with the appellant. And although the result of that discussion, brief discussion, was not substantive, I feel as though to eliminate any perceived conflict, I should recuse myself from any discussions or actions taken on this item.
Okay, I appreciate that. We're gonna end up tabling this item anyway, so you can stay. But I appreciate you saying that. And for the reasons why we're tabling that, I'll give it to the city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. So on this item, staff received at the last minute some additional materials that we'd like to take the time to analyze and meet with interagencies in this issue and then bring this back to you potentially. Hopefully, we can find an avenue to settle this before that, but if not, we'll bring it back next month.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, I'll move on to staff reports, city manager report.
So I did want to point out a couple of things that were on the consent agenda. You'll see that we're starting to make progress towards electrifying our fleet. With electrifying the lawnmower. We got the Cal Fire grant where we're going to be swapping out all of our gas weed whackers and blowers and things for electric equipment. And then also updating all of our lighting here in City Hall. That was all part of this agenda. I know all of you support that. I just know that who you all are. I'm talking with all of you, but specifically Mayor Donaldson and Councilmember Shirley. I know I've been working with both of you for almost over 2 years now on this process. So we're finally making progress on it. So stay tuned. There's more to come. And and if anybody didn't get a pin, we have 70th anniversary pins. And we did talk about the party on October 7th, the park party, so come out and celebrate our park. We will be thanking Ryan Sanchez for his contributions at the new basketball court and officially cutting the ribbon for the basketball court a few months after it opened. Perfect time.
Okay, thank you, city manager. And since the city manager mentioned it in terms of electrifying our fleet, as part of that, we did receive a CAL FIRE grant, which includes money towards that end goal of electrifying the rest of our equipment. So that's a part of it as well, which is exciting. Okay. Staff or council reports and correspondence are in the packet. Our next item is closed session. We have 2 items that we will be discussing. The first one is legal counsel existing litigation, Michelle Rowell versus the city of Delray Oaks. And the second one is real property negotiation, property titled 17 acres. Are there any public comment regarding closed session items? Okay, with that, we will adjourn to closed session.
You're on.
Okay, we reconvene from closed session, and with that, I'll turn it over to the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. With respect to the first item on closed session, Michelle Ball versus the city of Delray Oaks et al. Council authorized a settlement agreement in that matter. With respect to item number 2, real property negotiations, council was provided with an update, direction was given, but no reportable action is taken.
All right, thank you. And with that, we are adjourned. The next meeting is October 24th at 6 p.m.